Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Talk Show. My name is Rochelle Slay, or Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. So come on in, y'all. As you come on in, let me know where you're streaming in from so I can give you a shout out because you decided to spend a little bit of time with me this morning as we talk through another Slay Amazing conversation about how image creates impact. So we start from the word slay. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for the method, if you will, to how you can slay to success. That is strategic identity, leadership presence, aesthetic authority, and your narrative power. So, I'm just going to share with you all a little bit about the transition from being in the uniform and now to where I'm at. I can't believe it, y'all. It's been almost 5 years since I retired from the Air Force. And I had to think about when we moved here from South Dakota to Maryland here. And I was going through the boxes and unpacking, which is a lot. We tried our best before we moved out here to get rid of things that we weren't going to need. But somehow, some way, a lot of military like things came with us. And my husband also served in the Air Force for 30 years. So we had boxes and boxes and boxes of military uniforms, y'all. I don't know how many uniforms I had. I was like, wow. And so towards the end of my career, I started to see that I was accumulating a lot more because, you need like 5 uniforms. And at the time, it's ABUs that I was wearing because I had also BDUs from, and those that know the language for what we're talking about, these are the types of uniforms that we were wearing. And I had so many. I had boots, I had these t-shirts, 1,001 pair of socks, the PT gear, which is the physical training gear. And I was like, wow, my whole life is right here. This is what I know. So the decision to get dressed, it was easy. All right. As long as I had items. Oh, yeah. And let's not forget about the green bootstraps. Okay. Because I think I had, when I started unpack, thousands and thousands of bootstraps. And somehow, while I was still serving, I could never find bootstraps. It was like, where are these things? How do they go missing? I never knew where they were when I needed them, but as I was unpacking, I was like, man, I have lots of them. So now, okay, I am a transformational speaker, personal brand expert, a certified image consultant. And so now I think about my image while I was in the military and how easy it was for me because they give you a uniform, you just get dressed, and you refine your image over the years, and you know exactly how you're showing up, how you're leading, how you're being perceived. People knew your credibility based on the rank that you had. It was a lot more uh, easier for you to communicate your storyline. That you had your ribbons, you can tell if you had went on a deployment, what kind of training you received, if you received any accomplishments that awarded a certain ribbon. So when I was going through those boxes, y'all, I was getting overwhelmed because I wasn't hanging up those uniforms. I wasn't wearing them anymore. In fact, we had loads and loads of trash bags. And I was like, how are we going to get rid of these uniforms? So we took off the name tags, we took off the name tapes that were on there. And most of them we ended up throwing away because after a while, there's some wear and tear. Some of them went to the base where we could give them to, some airmen because they were fairly new. And so that we didn't like throw things away like that. But it was a process, okay, to where I was in uniform to what I'm doing now. As a personal brand strategist, expert, authority, if you will, I decided to be very consistent with the outfits and being intentional about how I'm showing up. My image has created a different type of impact since I retired because I chose, okay, not looking at anyone else, not thinking about, how people were putting their outfits together. I just decided this is how I feel, okay? So we're going to talk through. I want to talk through some different areas where I believe if anyone is in transition, especially if you are leading at the highest levels like I was. So this means that you're a chief master sergeant, a command chief master sergeant. If you are in a different military service branch, and you're an E9 and you're in these roles where you constantly have to show up and you have to look the part in the uniform, and you did that quite well, and now you're struggling to transition to figure out what to wear, why I need to wear this, and what is it that I'm needing to do to get there. So it is really about going from an institutional authority mindset to a personal influence mindset, which are two different things. Institution, they give you the things. Now you have to create a different way for you to show that you are an authority in the industry for where you're trying to go into. So I decided I really like to speak. So I want to be a speaker, but not just any type of speaker. I wanted to be a transformational speaker where I could go in and I don't have to say a word. All right. I just wanted to step in the room and automatically there was a shift. Well, one of the ways to do that is through your appearance. So when I decided, hey, hot pink is going to be the color, I'm going to express myself fully in this and elevate my image, which included updating my identity. Our identity was wrapped up in the uniform for many years. I served for 30 years. For 30 years, I knew what to do. All right. When I saw myself unpacking those boxes, I started to see that my confidence level was getting a little bit, in the dump, if you will, because I'm like, I got to start from scratch. I have no idea what to do. Yes, I got a few pieces to go to community events and to conferences and to, meetings outside of when I was on duty, because at that level, that is what part of what your job is. And so I got a few things, but it really didn't express who I am. So first of all, in Slay Nation, this is Slay Nation, all right, where we're taking it to the next level. All right. We are not waiting. We're not asking for permission. We are not shrinking ourselves. We are not fighting to belong into any rooms. We are stepping into places as if we've already been there. And what I am doing is creating a life on my own terms without any tetherings to any organization, to any, persons, places, or things, because I needed freedom. All right. And this is my way. I created my business so I could have freedom. So, not too many people are willing to do it because it comes with certain areas that we need to really focus on. And so, what I'm going to share with you are the 3 areas that I really focused on when I decided to step into the spaces that I'm in right now. Good morning, Queen. How you doing? So happy that you could be here live with me this morning. I'm going to talk through about how our image creates impact. And so the 3 the three areas that I want us to really focus on and to think about as we're transitioning, or maybe you've already transitioned like me and Chevy, and you have started a purpose driven journey where you want to feel fulfilled. You know, one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to make a life where I look forward to going places. I wanted to learn new people. I wanted to find out what I was missing while I was in service, new friends, new community. We took a risk coming out here, a big risk. I had really no clue of what I was getting myself into because I hadn't made a firm plan. And if you're following me on LinkedIn, I'm sharing you insights as to what I was thinking and what I was going through the last few years of my career while I was serving as a command chief. Because I know that those that have served for that long, what happens is our brains are trained in a certain way where we don't want to extend past that because again, it's it's not safe. Okay. What I'm doing is definitely putting yourself out there and standing out amongst everybody else. So, one of the areas that I focused on was authenticity. All right. I wanted to be me in my fullest expression. So, when I was in service, and a lot of people in service know exactly what I'm talking about, there's only so much that you can do when it came to expressing yourself. All right. I don't think we could have fully expressed ourselves, especially in the business that we're in. These are high stakes, okay, high pressured roles where you're leading thousands and thousands of people, right? And so when authenticity came up, it was like, I think people were like, you're trying to be somebody that you're not. What are you doing? And I now know that the highest expression outside of love to where you can be in that higher frequency is authenticity. So I wanted to show that externally. So that is really what you see. When I go to places, I stand out like a sore thumb. And I am well okay with that because I created it on my own. And it's easy for us to do that. We are creatives, we are problem solvers, we think outside the box, right? Well, this really gets you to a place where you don't really care. There's a lot of things that I say in my head when I go and step into places where I know my outfit is not going to be like anyone else's. And so I say, so what? Okay, so what? So what if they look at me and they're judging me? So what if they're mocking me? So what if they're, looking at me as if I don't know what I'm doing? As long as I feel good in my skin, in my body about what I'm doing. And let's just put on top of that, I am in the details. Okay. You will see everything that I wear is about details. And my image has created impact to where I have been invited to special events. I have had opportunities to go speak on stages that I never even knew they existed. I am I go out and people automatically know who I am. And it's kind of scary, okay, because I don't know what I'm going to get, but they see that I've been very consistent in my authenticity. So, what is your most authentic self? And are you striving to get there? I think all of us need to go on the journey of really thinking about how we're being perceived. What is the image that we are projecting? Is it the one that you truly want people to see, or are you copying and pasting from someone else? I am not. I chose no. I am showing up and I am going to give it all I have. Great top. Yes, Queen. We're going to talk. I love this authenticity thing. You know, when I see something, I know it's for me. All right. I see how I can incorporate it with the rest of the pieces that I have. And it's so easy for me. It's like being in uniform, really. It's my uniform. This is my way of showing up every day. And sometimes people don't understand this concept, but I really want us as those that are transitioning out of the military, especially at a very high level, to think about what it is and where it is, okay, that you're trying to go and start to dress in that specific way. People will start to tune in, they'll get it, right? But we sometimes hold back because it's easier just to, stay stuck for where we were at and get wrapped up into, okay, well, the uniform, and then we come up with, I don't know what to wear. All right. Well, we don't have time to do all this. All right. We got short runways, especially if we've done long careers. So what? Those individuals want to show up boldly but are afraid. Yeah, they do. And so what we are to do, because we are leaders, we are trailblazers, we're change agents, we have to give permission to show up the way that they want to show up at the highest expression of themselves. Now, I'm not talking about, doing mediocrity, right? Where we're just throwing things together. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we are showing up in an elevated way where people are like, man, wow. It's like you're turning heads. All right. People are automatically talking about you. And that is what I wanted to leave because I'm like, I got 30 years of military service. There's not a lot of people who can say that they've had that long of a service. This is just the beginning of the next chapter. I want to make sure that when I step into a room, it is almost as if I was commanding attention in my uniform. And now I just translate it to command attention into any type of room that I am being invited to go into. Okay. So let's just start thinking outside of that, like that. Okay. So again, this has opened doors, it started conversations, has really built my credibility in the space. I had a client who was running for Congress, and I was her personal stylist. Okay, who would have ever imagined that a 30-year command chief would actually be helping serving others outside of what they've already known on their own. Okay, I'm not tethered. All right, so that is one of the things that I know we can do because we have the skill set, we have the expertise, we have the discipline, we have the resilience, we have the strategy of being a long game. Right, this is not something that we know that's going to be built overnight. So we're needing to show up, okay? And not that we're struggling, okay? Because I know a lot of people are struggling. So if you have it in you and you just been afraid to wear that outfit, I'm telling you right now, wear the outfit. Wear the outfit. Stop putting off on things and you're like, okay, well that's just a little bit over the top. It's probably exactly where you need to be because we were in an environment where we were taught how to blend in, okay, to hide, to not, fully express, not doing too much. So I'll leave that. Okay. Yes, I transformed how I showed up from head to toe. And y'all, this again, it has taken a few years for me to really figure it out. Like, what is it? So, authenticity is one. The next area that I want you to think about is your vibe. Okay. Not everybody can wear what I'm wearing. There has to be a certain vibe and a swag that you have about yourself. And the way that I get the vibe is by working out. So here we go with the image part. When we transition out of the military, some of us decide we're not going to work out anymore. That was just a condition of employment. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm just going to let myself go. And you know what happens? Confidence starts to decline. the way you want to show up, you just don't have it in you. All right. Clothes are not fitting well. You're a little bit like, okay, well, exercising is not really a part of my life, so I'm just gonna like exclude it. I'm gonna tell you right now, the way that I look at my image and the way that I want to show up starts with working out. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, here she goes again. But I'm going to tell, I know for a fact it worked for me while I was in uniform, and it's working for me now. I don't see it as I got to run somebody down on a track. All right. And pushing myself to a level where I'm like, what am I doing out here? Right. I know moving my body, eating healthier has really helped me to deal, okay, because I'm 53. If you have a long career, most of us are ending our careers in between, the mid 40s to early 50s. We have to continue to work out and to take care of ourselves. All right. That is really truly how you can elevate and really have this vibe and this swag like no one else. Okay. Because I'm like, I already been trained. I know what to do. I still run, y'all. I ran 4 miles the other day. I learned how to run while I was in the military, and I continue to do that. So think about it. Okay. Think about your routine that you have. How are you going to incorporate that? Because that is part of the image. An image creates impact. People see that when you are looking good, you're feeling good, there's a certain swag. All right. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming up in here. And again, people are going to be looking at you differently. And they're thinking, well, who is she? Or, what is she about? Well, we have secrets. Okay. And we need to use them to our advantage. Okay. She said, Chevy said, we have to make our wellness a priority. She did a 3.12 miles this morning. Yes, Queen, it is the priority. All right. It helps with the vibe. All right. The way that we want to, maneuver and navigate in a space. We're not showing up looking like, I don't know, like we just woke up. Okay. Because once you prioritize your workout, then you start prioritizing your routine of the day. That is really what we're speaking to. Now, the next area I really want you to think about is your energy. Your energy, okay? Energy capacity right now. So, my lifestyle is much different than it was when I was in service. When I talk about my energy when I was in service, it's not the same as the energy that I have right now. I don't have to deal with all of the things that came with service, especially as a Black woman in service. That took energy, extra energy. I'm just trying to do my job up in here. Okay. And I shared yesterday that I was doing an immersion tour, and a male staff sergeant who wasn't a part of the immersion tour, it was someone else that was giving me the briefing, started to hit on me. Okay. And he was saying things like, hey, I can help you with you're moving, like if you need help unpacking and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? What's happening here? Okay. And I gave him a look as if you need to stop. Okay. But he kept on, and no one stepped up that was behind me. And I talked about, there was chiefs, there was first sergeants, there was airmen, there were senior leaders. No one said a thing like, hey man. So I took it upon myself, and I went in, and it was almost like the military training instructor vibe. So anybody knows your MTI was the scariest person at the time. That's where I went in front of everyone. I was exhausted by the end of the day. And I went home and I think I just, I talked to Dominique about it. And then I was like, I just need to lay down. That was energy that I didn't need to use, but I had to because someone overstepped their boundaries. And so it wasn't the first or the last time. And I had to continue to use that type of energy. So when I transitioned out of the military, I was tired. All right. But I knew I needed to find a way to rejuvenate my energy. I needed to find a way to get it back because I knew I had gas still left in the tank. And I didn't want to feel like I was fighting all the time. So I was like, the one thing that I could say that I have done is really to update my wardrobe. It has given me the energy and the life that I needed. And if it's just the one thing, hey, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and try it? Right? I said, I want to feel like powerful. I want to feel different. I want to feel, like all those things that I had in the past, they didn't get to me as much as they were. I don't look like what I've been through because I made a choice. I decided that that's not the energy that I wanted to carry into this next chapter. It didn't have to look like that, right? I am proud of my service. I love how I was able to be successful in that. And now I'm like looking and I'm like, I could be successful in this area of my life, this chapter of my life, but it does require energy. So when I see others that are showing up tired, and they look like they're not fulfilled, they don't have a sense of purpose, they're not ready to engage. I'm like, well, why are you showing up in spaces where there are a lot of people with low energy? All right. What is it that you need to do to get to the highest level of energy? All right. If it's, in fact, you say, I want to do more in this next chapter, you need energy. So when I show up, y'all, it's like I'm giving you an energy, I'm giving you an experience, truly an experience. And I want all of us to be able to do that because we still have a story to write. All right. This is again, we are looking at legacy. We have to be able, if we're going to be on stages, which I encourage all of us to be on so we can share our story because it is so much different than everyone else's. The experiences that we have had, it is an asset that we all should be using. And so that's what I'm doing, y'all. All right. So just remember to be authentic. All right. Whatever that is attracting you and it is drawing you into, that's probably the thing. All right. And then expand on it. Do the most, but make sure, all right, that it is well put together and it's solid. All right. We're not coming out there doing randos. The next thing I'd say is the vibe. What is your vibe? What is your personality? How do you want people to take you in? All right. We all have to have a swag about us because not everybody is doing the long careers. All right. And especially those that have done as long of a career that I have. All right. So we got to have a swag about it. And, it's like, yes, I did that. And guess what? I'm able to do something else that's different. But you're going to know and you're going to feel like, man, there's something to them. I just can't put my finger on that. Right. And then, of course, it's energy. Okay. Energy. How do you get your energy back? All right. What do you need to do? And I am encouraging you to look at your wardrobe, and everything that it should speak to is those three things. Period. All right. This is where we draw the line in the sand. This is where we do things where we feel like our most highest level version of ourselves. Okay. So I am offering, okay, a masterclass that's coming up here August 11th. All right. I'm going to put the QR scan code up there in the top left corner because I know some people are really struggling to figure out what is their style. Okay. It is called Slay Your Signature Style. It is a masterclass. We're not going to be on there for very long, probably about an hour. And we're going to talk through, some of the reasons why you're struggling, some of the actions that you can start to take immediately to, shift your mindset to get to your signature style. Every one of us should have a signature style. Everyone, and I'm saying Slay Nation, every one of us should have a signature style that will not get misunderstood and people will already understand what you're trying to do. Okay. So we want to build our wardrobes intentionally. We don't want to just be, going with the standard because I know what people say. Oh, just get a few, suits, go get a few dresses, go get a few tops or whatnot. And then when you do, you feel in some sort of a way because you're like, I don't even feel like this is me. Okay. No. All right, we're going to do it the Slay way. All right, so make sure you sign up. There are limited seats. And so we're going to, again, talk through some ways that you can start immediately, especially if you're in transition, to find your intentional wardrobe, your personal brand. All right, just not any wardrobe, personal brand. All right, and it's easier than what I'm saying right now once you come. Totally going to be easy for you. So I love to see you there. All right. And this also leads me into this purpose driven work that I am doing. I'm going to show you a video. Okay. And this video is going to be what has really happened over the past few years. And someone created this reel for me. And if you hadn't seen it already, because I put it out there on Facebook and LinkedIn, I'm going to show it to you again. This is me in my highest version of myself after military retirement. All right. There's no hiding, there's no shrinking, and there's no fighting. I am doing what I absolutely love to do, and I'm getting paid to do it. That is even something else that we can talk through too. But it is because I decided to create an image that creates impact. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Chevy, for being here with me live this morning. Yes, and it will be exciting because I'm gonna be coming with the energy. All right. But I do want to make sure that you all are showing up, okay, and showing out. So I want you to keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Thank you, Chevy, for being with me live. And watch this video, y'all.